Well, good morning and happy game day if you are anywhere across the country with a big college football game, as we do here in Austin, Texas. I am Sean Clynch, the host of Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast, and this is another episode of the series Coffee with Clynch. Do me a big favor. Go ahead and follow each of our social media platforms. They're all listed right there, and subscribe for free to our YouTube page and share with your mom, your dad, your cousins, your best friends, your significant other. Share all of our content with them. And I appreciate it. And I really appreciate you this morning on this big game day here in Austin, Texas. And a big shout out to all of our sponsors, including Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something. Go ahead and get those heaters inspected, serviced before we truly get some cold air moving into the central Texas area. We actually have football season, a hint of it, in the mornings, and it's going to be a great day here in Austin and across the country. And, you know, Coffee with Clynch, these episodes are supposed to be inspiring and a little bit of sports related. I try to deviate a little bit and through life experiences, maybe hopefully just inspire somebody. But I found a quote that there's so many from the late Darrell K. Royal. DKR was a good old boy from Oklahoma, a fantastic player and coach. And one thing about him, he had a way with words that really reached people and made people laugh. But, you know, because it is a big day in college football, I love this quote by Darrell K. Royal. It don't matter what they throw at us. Only angry people win football games. There is some truth to that. Focus and with intentions and, for a lack of better words, stay pissed off. I remember in high school, there was a new guy that showed up to practice, and there was my guy, Coach Ellis, retired now, O-line coach, and he said, I thought this new guy walked up, and he said, I'm plenty pissed off. And Coach Ellis said, get in there then. But he was introducing himself as, I'm Pete. And Coach Ellis thought he said, I'm plenty pissed off. Well, in football, it's one of those games in which focus and controlled anger wins games. Coach Royal was a mastermind at getting his players. You talk to any of those former players from those great teams, a great era from 1957 to 1976, and he was a mastermind of getting his players ready. But it can also pertain to life, not so much being angry or pissed off. Intense focus will always win you or achieve the goal at hand. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about a huge game that everyone's been talking about before the season even started. I know it's the first season of the SEC for both Texas and Oklahoma, but we're in that part of the season where Texas has back-to-back huge games. Every game is huge for everybody in the SEC, but people here in Austin have been waiting for this game for a long, long time, including myself, the first-time season ticket holder, and it's the reason why I bought season tickets, so I wouldn't have to deal with what so many people are, trying to get a ticket to this game. We'll pay homage and a salute to both Honest Plumbing and Air and one of my favorite places to share with friends and wet my palate, so to speak. I'll see you on the other side. Honest is a strong word, and we all need honesty when it comes to plumbing and HVAC needs. Somebody who will take care of the repairs efficiently and with quality. Honest Plumbing and Air is who I trust, and they take pride in that word. Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something. The Bully is a cozy Austin original bar and grill that feels like home. Boulevard Bar and Grill, nestled into this Northwest Hills Strip Mall recently celebrated 2 decades. The drink prices are like going back to 2004. It's where familiar faces gather and everyone knows your name. The Bully family are also friends of the stories inside the Man Cave podcast. Boulevard Bar and Grill on Far West Boulevard in Northwest Austin. The first day of 2019 is when that happened. I was there in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl. I'd been there for, I think 4 or 5 days. It was a long week, fun week covering Texas. Went back in my media days with the Channel of Champions, KVU here in Austin, Texas, the ABC affiliate. Mike Barnes and I were there, and we were there at the New Orleans Superdome for about 3 hours. Social media live coverage. SEC represented by Georgia, great team, but they missed out on the playoffs, the CFP, and there was all these rumors going around that they weren't motivated to play because they weren't playing for a national championship. Well, Texas had a really good team that year, but they did have 4 losses, and I remember they opened the year losing to Maryland. And they lost to West Virginia, and they had a couple other losses that probably should not have lost. Lost the rematch against Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. But they had a really good team, and that was a special team that just didn't achieve what they had set out to reach their potential. Tom Herman, head coach, really good team. A lot of NFL guys on that team for Texas. But Texas proved how good they were. They upset Georgia that day. But before the game, I remember Mike Barnes and I, after 3 hours of pregame coverage, we went into the media dining hall. Mike left before me, and then our phone started blowing up. And oh my God, did you guys get video of Uga, the dog, and Bevo? And I had no idea what they were talking about because I was eating. Because I was taking a break after 3 hours because we had 45 minutes or an hour or so before the game. And Barnes comes back and he got cell phone video of the reaction post. And then our media friend from the Statesman, Danny Davis, told us about it. And it was a pretty big deal, obviously. So we missed that. And we were criticized by our employer for not being there at that time, that we didn't get it. A lot of people didn't get it, but it was quite a deal. Bevo charged Uga from his corral. And oddly enough, UGA reportedly said that Bevo was not, you can't bring Bevo to the game next year in 2025. And reportedly, that's the reason why Uga's not going to be at the game today in Austin. I don't know how true that is. Not as dialed in and connected as I used to be. But the quote from the handler owner of the current Uga was that he's not ready for a road trip like that. I don't know. I don't know who to believe. Maybe it's because both schools decided not to bring the mascots to their stadiums. But anyway, does not take away from how big this game is. Texas, in modern day history, it's been very rare that they've been number 1 in the country for a home game. There's been some big games at DKR, several, but none bigger than this, in my opinion. And it's going to be electric later this evening at 6:30 p.m. And ESPN Game Day has been on campus for a couple of days, and so many big names are in Austin. I mean, we've got F1 here. We've got 2 big concerts, Sting and Eminem. at F1 at Coda. But as far as college football, all eyes are on Austin, Texas, as they are a lot for many reasons. It's a big sports entertainment city now, and with F1 and so many other things. But if you really think back, I think this is going to be the most electric game in Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium history. So I really started thinking, what are the most electric games in DKR history? I mean, if you think back at maybe Notre Dame to open the season back in 2015, I think it was. Turned out both teams ended up with losing records, but, Tyrone Swoops with the winning walk-off touchdown. That was big, but none bigger than this, where Texas is ranked number 1. It's the top 5 matchup in the country with Georgia, big SEC game. I think you have to go back all the way to 2008. The Big 12 was stacked back then. Texas, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Missouri, and I'm leaving out somebody, I know, but it was and Texas Tech, all had top 10 teams. Well, if my memory serves me correct, I was working in Oklahoma City that year, all the way up to 2012. There was 3 consecutive games in which Texas faced, I believe, a top 10 team. I mean, it was Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Missouri running the gauntlet. And they ended up losing on the last play of the game at Texas Tech, which I believe vaulted Tech to number 1, and then they lost that number 1 ranking to Oklahoma the very next week. But Missouri was number 10 or number 11. And I remember having that on my DVR, watching it after I covered an Oklahoma game. Obnoxiously loud, DKR, wild. First play from scrimmage. Roy Miller, the former Texas defensive tackle, first play from scrimmage. Chase Daniel, the former Mizzou great quarterback. They were running a type of reverse. Roy Miller broke through a gap and just nailed, I think it was Macklin maybe, behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. And that set that stadium on fire. And Texas jumped up big on Mizzou. But before that, and the crowd was electric. DKR was rocking. We have to go all the way back, in my opinion, to 1990. Texas and Houston, Old Southwest Conference. That was a dark era for Texas, but that 1990 season was very special to Texas. David McWilliams, 87, 88, 89, 90, his 4th season. Former Longhorn himself, great man. The Shock the Nation tour. Houston had been dominating Texas the prior years, 89, 88, 87. I think Texas did beat them in 86, but 87, they started installing the run and shoot offense, and they were putting up 60-plus points on Texas. They were really good. And Texas wasn't very good at all. They were average. But in 1990, that team was special at Texas. So fans were hungry. Fans were starving. Now think about Memorial Stadium without the upper deck on the east side and over the north end zone. It was just a horseshoe with the west side upper deck. I think the capacity was like 78,000. That night, and I think it was October, I was in high school, we went, and Houston was like number 3 in the country. Texas was 10, I think, maybe. Texas came out and just not only stopped the run and shoot offense, just whipped up on Houston, and that crowd was electric from the start. And Texas finally beat Houston, and time was starting to tick out on the game. I think the final was 45-24, something like that. And fans started storming the field. Then Wally Pryor, the late Wally Pryor, great PA announcer at Memorial Stadium, he says, "Get those idiots off the goalpost," or something like that. There were still 3 to 6 seconds remaining in the game. The clock had stopped. Everybody went back up into the stadium or next to the wall. And ran up the clock, they stormed back out. And that was I don't see that ever going to happen again. I would be shocked if Texas beats Georgia later tonight that fans will ever storm the field at Memorial Stadium. But that may happen. That may happen, but I doubt it. So the most electric games, this one tonight, I'm going to go ahead and predict it. This has to be, I just feel it. It's going to be the loudest from before kickoff, during, and it's a 6:30 kickoff, the premier game of the nation. People will be lubed up. We'll be there. Stevie Lee will be there. I will be there. It's going to be fun. And I hope that if you don't have tickets, and I'll get to that in a minute, that you go down to tailgate today. Be a part of that electricity. And speaking of those tickets, thank God I bought season tickets, because we knew that this game, a lot of people bought season tickets like I did, so we wouldn't be in this jam of having to find tickets to the Georgia game, because, for example, mine are on the north end zone upper deck. There were 2 people this week that offered me $400 for one ticket. I could have made my money back if I sold both of them. There were some tickets people paid up to $2,000 for. A hot ticket. I've never seen anything like that here. And that tells you how big this game is. Most electric game, I think, tomorrow in our next episode with Stevie Lee, the pass rush with Stevie Lee, brought to you by Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof? I think we're going to be talking about the most electric atmosphere in DKR Texas Memorial Stadium history. Also in the SEC today, a big one, Alabama, Tennessee, and there are other big games. So raise up your mug. It's early. Take a sip. Let's get this day going. It's going to be beautiful. You go out and have a blessed day, and we will see you next time. Like, share, follow, and I appreciate you for following and supporting Stories Inside the Man Cave. Raise those mugs up. Have a great day.